You what?
I'm still going to release it. Fuck them.
Release what?
The episode.
Oh, I didn't think you weren't.
Fucking hot take or not. I could tell. Like, you did that face, that Neil face where Zach's gone too far. There's a very specific face. I've learned to notice it after 5 years where your face goes like this. It's like that face like, are we recording? Are we on a break? Is he saying this on the internet?
Maybe you should make this be the opening to be like, oh God, what the fuck did he say?
I should. Everybody needs to look for the Neil "We've Gone Too Far" face. That should be the name of the episode.
See if
the Neil "Gone Too Far" face.
The thumbnail.
The thumbnail. I wish I could make that the thumbnail. I don't have the skills. It's just your face, just like this. All right. Let's come back and then we'll call it a day.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good. It's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zach Ryan with Old Man Gaming. You, dear listener, for whatever reason, have decided to listen to another Horrible Gaming Podcast. I'm not alone. I'm not usually ever alone. With me is...
Neil A.K.A. Time wasn't.
And we're here with another sad-ass depressing episode. There will be no news. We're going to do 2 talking points today. Those talking points are going to be very obvious. I think anybody who has watched any gaming news, the first talking point is going to be the death of physical media. And then the second talking point is going to be all of the Microsoft layoffs. And I think it will culminate kind of together in a nasty Voltron from hell. It will combine to make the fact that we are, I think I'm going to call this episode the Crash Postmortem, because we are in Crash. That's it. We're in the crash. I hate I'm right, but that's where we are. But before we get into that, we have to thank the people who have made this possible. Behind our ugly mugs is a custom graphic that was provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by the man who makes the music, my brother, Nick Van Sledgers. We thank him for that. We'll be right back with probably the only upside of this episode, fan traction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment. That's Fan Traction. That's where we, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. It's a smaller show, so anything you comment on YouTube, I try and read out and respond to. So, let's get into it. Echelon Cake, the third member of the Lasso 3, commented this time. Kayla, your wonderful wife. Redfall was a chaotic masterpiece of a play experience, and I no lie miss it. We'll come back to that. Crying, laughing emoji face. Not the game itself, just the chaos we created. I also miss community playing. What if we played stuff not for like a stream or recording, but just like something to do as an OMG community? Every month there could be like a poll of what people want to play, and whoever wants to play that game can. Just so we can play stuff together and not deal with recording setups. That's not a bad idea, honestly, Kayla, and that might be something we foresee in the future. I'm going to say this. It will not be until things have calmed down a little bit in my house, because there will still be an organizational aspect to it. But I think it's a really good idea. I will say the only downside of that plan too is we have done polls before. We've done horrible arenas before. It is very hard to get people to vote for things. So just saying that. But yeah, that might be something we do in the future. That's a great idea. And as far as the Redfall, yes, Kayla was the third on Redfall, alongside my co-host here, Neil. And I have been rewatching it. Just got a bug up my ass, wanted to rewatch it. I did not remember a couple of things. It is one of our more consistently watched series, which is really weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm all the way up to episode 8, and I have not hit an episode that has less than 10 views. Like almost everything has like, and the first like 4 or 5 have like 40, which is kind of crazy to think. So,
Yeah.
but that show was, I'm just giggling through the whole thing, and like, it makes for some of the best bits and so many cool things that we did, like not just in the frame of the game sucks, but in the frame of just comedy in general. Like there was so many moments where like we were playing off each other. It's one of our best series. I personally still believe. Okay, continuing, we move on to William Hohen. Hi! Exclamation point. I mean, to be fair, it's usually medically difficult at Zach's place.
Yeah.
I hate that that's that is the nickname that I have. Medically difficult Zachariah. It sucks, man. It sucks. Oh man, I hated those people when I was a kid. Like, oh, that person's always sick, or that person never comes to work because they're always sick, and now it's me. It's great. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Jokes aside, sorry. Seems it's been rougher lately. Best wishes. No. On the AI stuff and AAA, etc. It would be too long to write all my thoughts here. But there's a lot to be said about who we are as enthusiasts and the average gamer. I don't think we represent the majority, and that's why our predictions and understandings are often off. As someone who tried, I can say it's very difficult to create group content on YouTube. Just the sound balance for everyone. Yes, man. Don't even get me started. Everyone to sound fine, schedule, internet issues, recordings. That doesn't work, etc. Oh, we learned a lot about the Steam Machine. We'll keep it for the next podcast. Thanks for the show. Cheers. # gaming is just a miserable little pile of lies. Okay, so first, I'm just going to answer the medical stuff. Nobody's like COVID or flu B sick right now, which is wonderful. I'm sure that will come
Not
again.
yet. Yeah.
What has happened is my lovely wife had to have an ankle surgery for a break that she has had for over a year. That ankle surgery is incredibly invasive and means no weight for like 6 weeks, I want to say. And then once she's off of it, it's very minimalistic weight. And in the process of that, I slipped a disc in my back. And it is now sitting on top of a nerve, which makes it incredibly painful to walk around, to sit, to do anything. Really. Yes. Which is why the podcast is hard, because sometimes my back is not feeling up to sitting in this chair to record things by the time we get to 8 o'clock on Sunday. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I really am. It sucks because I am somehow this fragile little flower that is always ruining shows for everybody. But I don't want to be that. I really don't want to be. It's the way it is right now. And that's the health stuff. And that's why scheduling and stuff has just gotten a little awkward and a little tricky and a little wonky.
Yeah.
But I'm always honest with you guys, at least. I'm never unfortunately, I'm medically difficult, but I'm never lying to you guys, at least. I can tell you 100% what happened, so you guys know why the content can sometimes take a hitch. I want to say something else on the content thing, too. And I might as well say it before we get to the talking points and stuff. This show has gotten less fun. And it is not you guys' fault. It is not my wonderful co-host's fault. It is just the fault of gaming in general. When we first started doing this, we were just talking about this before we got in the air. When we first started doing this, it would be like, can't wait to talk about the new games. Can't wait to talk about the E3. Can't wait to talk about this, the new releases. And there'd usually be like one crappy news story in there somewhere or something to laugh at. And now it's just a slog. It is a slog. Every morning I wake up and I check IGN and I get depressed. And like, it is very hard to then come down here and talk about it, especially since I feel like I'm redundant sometimes. I feel like the stuff, even today, that we're going to talk about, we've been talking about for like 2 fucking years. And
pretty much.
It's hard. It's hard to get to come down here and talk about something I love so much that is depressing. And I am going to say this to everybody out there. I don't know if you've noticed this on the channel. We have a lot more TTRPG actual play content right now. And my reviews and game stuff has been centered around much older, much more indie games. There's a reason for that, because it's a trash fire everywhere else, and I don't want to wade into it anymore. I would much rather play games from like small independent studios like the Tracy Brothers, and talk about them than give any credence to any AAA developer out there right now. And we'll get more into that in the talking point. I don't want to linger on this. I just want to explain to you guys, especially you, Will, because I know you're one of our biggest fans. And if anybody's missing the content, I'm sure you are, but that's why. As far as the AI stuff, we talked about it a little bit. I think it's a tricky subject all the way around. I've said this repeatedly. I think there are good uses for AI. I just think that nobody ever uses it correctly. They use it for evil. And when you use something for evil, we have to just outlaw it. We just have to be angry about it. And that's one of the most irritating things about hell, the country I live in. There's no middle ground anymore. It's like, if something is slightly bad, it's got to be all bad. And that's just not conducive with any progress whatsoever. We already talked about the group stuff. The Steam machine is dead. Let's face it. When IGN is doing reports about how you can build a more powerful version of the Steam machine for cheaper, Valve, fuck off. What were you even trying to accomplish at that point?
The Gabeth Newell needs a new vessel.
Yeah. I mean, but like, if you can't beat the price of everybody else, why are we here? And honestly, part of me still believes that the reason they released is they still believe they're going to beat the price of the next PlayStation and Xbox. And I think that there's going to be a time very close in the future where the Steam machine is going to be the cheapest system out there. And at that point, we're in a trash. I don't want to get on that, but we're going to go to the next comment. Unless you got something to add, my friend.
Nothing constructive.
Right. I think a lot of this is going to be also covered in the talking point, whether directly or indirectly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, into the Jason comments. I'd rather not play as a woman. I'd rather watch a dude, for reasons I'm not going to here. But sometimes I like the woman characters like Mom in Back 4 Blood because they're badasses. I still love the interaction where if someone gets hit by her friendly fire and they comment, she gives the absolute most insincere apology ever. There's also one of the female voice sets in State of Decay 2 that is the most sarcastic bitch, and I love that voice set. I also love Karlach from BG3 and Jesse from Control. I think it differs. When we were talking about that whole thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with a person wanting to play a video game specifically a certain way, and maybe that includes the gender of the main character. What I think is wrong is when that person then decides to go to the internet and bastardize that game just because that gender is the main character. I don't think that's fair. And I don't think that's right. Like, if you don't want to play as a main character lady, that's fine. I don't think anybody's going to get upset with you about that. The problem is when you then take to the internet and point out how terrible the game is based on no information other than you can only play as a woman, that's what I was trying to convey last week. I don't know if I managed to do that successfully. I think artists should be free to create their vision the way they want to create their vision, just like people who are consuming that art should be free to consume that art based on what the vision of the artist was. I mean, that's simple, right? It's simple math, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the relationship between art and those who are like perceiving it.
Right.
Is what you get from
Right.
it based on what it is that is being presented to
Why
you.
these fucking assholes feel the need to then jump on the internet and go fucking crazy. That's where the problem is. That's when it
Right.
becomes a problem. Like, just chill out, man. Play the games you want to play and don't play the games you don't want to play, But yeah, go ahead.
It's funny too, because this is something, I mean, in light of recent, newsy bits of information that we're going to be talking about here soon, like it's almost erased that conversation already. Like
Yes.
that's how trivial this
Yeah,
discussion
trivial.
is.
It's trivial.
Is it blows up hot, fast, and quick, but it holds no bearing, no sway over
No
anything.
water.
When something
Yeah.
actually really important comes along,
Yeah.
then it just knocks it out of the consciousness of the general public.
I think that, like, yeah, exactly. Like, and I personally don't like games. Well, I don't want to say I don't like, because there's definitely games that I like that don't have character creation. But overall, I tend to gravitate towards games with character creation more than games without character creation. To me, that is the same as somebody being like, I want to play as a dude or I want to play as a woman, And honestly, there are some games I'd rather play as a woman, and there's some games I'd rather play as a guy, I should be free to express that way. Like, I'm not going to jump on the internet and point out how fucking terrible it is that, like, one or the other is locked out or whatever. That's fucking stupid. And yes, it's all trivial. It never holds water. It was like when they got super mad that Aloy in the sequel wasn't super pretty. And I'm like, first of all, they don't have makeup in a post-apocalypse world, you morons.
Right.
Like, when has she got 45 minutes to put on that much makeup? Second of all, I don't want a woman in the post-apocalypse who is the heroine to look like that. If she's taking 45 minutes to do her face, no shade to women who do that, you are not running around and hunting metal dinosaurs on the tundra, Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, It just made no fucking sense to me. Okay. So, moving.
Yeah.
Jason continues. Zach is an elder millennial. I am a baby Gen X. We sit in a hybrid generation, Zenennial, or as I like to call it, SAD. The Oregon Trail, the Oregon Trail generation. Right? We got to see it when it was really good, and now we get to see it when it was really bad.
I'm trying to think where I fall in the.
You're a millennial. You're a millennial.
Yeah, I know I'm a millennial, but like where in the millennial? 89. So that's middle of the road.
Because
I
I'm
guess.
I'm just tail end of millennial, and I'm 81. So like I'm right at the beginning. So I'm sorry, right at the end of the cutoff between Gen X and millennial. So all right. So Jason then continues. When I first found OMG, watching the State of Decay 2 streams, Zach needed one more survivor to move to a base. I noticed he had enough prestige to get a red talon, and that red talon was Nanda Shiri. State of Decay 2, Community 1, Stream 3. This is 100%. You can watch it. And I'll go one further. I did not know what prestige was at that point. I had already played the game for hours and hours and hours, had no idea what prestige was, had no idea you could gain prestige from doing the survival mission, because I didn't ever even try the survival stuff, because that's not why I wanted to play that game. So like, I never really realized that mechanic until Jason stepped in. And I'm going to say this even further. Jason, I would not know half the stuff I know about State of Decay if it weren't for you in the stream. Like, I loved playing that game, but I was definitely playing it all wrong. And I think that's why it was entertaining, because I definitely lost people regularly. But I think that, like, yeah, you definitely helped me play that game, man. And Nanda Shiri, the Pirate Princess, the origin is deeply rooted in Jason. And then he finishes by saying, I enjoyed watching y'all suffer in Redfall. Yeah, it's fun. It was fun. I don't think it would have been as fun if I wasn't playing with you guys. But like it was
absolutely not. No, it would be a train
fun.
wreck otherwise.
You have to have a group of people who's like excited to find the next thing that goes wrong. and not a person who's just like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I think, and honestly, listening back, I think I was the person who most didn't want to be there anymore. But you guys' excitement about like the crazy bugs and stuff like spurred me on. The fact that we have a whole joke about robot noises that goes on through tons of episodes. We had a joke about the popcorn. We lost our minds about the popcorn because only one person could eat the popcorn. And it was like a rant. It was like, how are we going to go on this mission and get this popcorn thing and only one fucking person can eat the goddamn popcorn? We can't eat popcorn with friends. The power of friendship on the boat rides. We found the boat rides that you could put a coin in and one of us would get on while the other, it was the boat and the lobster.
Mm-hmm. I remember those, yeah.
Yeah, there was so many moments of that was just absolutely exquisite. And like watching it back has been really fun. And that is it for Fan Traction. So guys, again, no news. We have 2 talking points. We're going to start with PlayStation's decision to get rid of physical media altogether. And then we are going to continue with Microsoft's whatever the fuck apocalypse cataclysm that's going on. Yeah. And and I think that will form in a double helix of the crash. We are in it. And we'll get to that in a second.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, guys. Talking point number 1. PlayStation has recently decided they will no longer be doing physical media for any of their systems going forward. I'm going to go right over to Neil because he has been chomping at the bit to talk about this. So I have been chomping at the bit to talk about the next. Well, not really chomping at the bit. I don't want to talk about any of this shit, but that's the one that I'm going to have more to say on. So Neil, go for it.
Yeah, so I mean, Sony's just, I have no words to describe the way that I feel about them right now and their lack of absolute fucks that they've given about this entire situation. So starting in 2028, Sony's not printing any more physical media. For PlayStation consoles, at least. Fun little thing to touch on that here in my rant that I'm going to go into, because I literally have a list of reasons why this sucks absolute and total ass. Absolute and total ass. So obviously, the one that everybody's been making fun of constantly is Sony's dig at Microsoft when they were doing the game, like the always online, the games being locked to a single console. This is how you share a game, which has been, shown ad nauseum since this all came out. So there's basically no more game sharing, or at least it would have been at least a good idea for them to mention that this is something that they'll be able to do by having an all digital thing. They gave no upside to any of this. It's like, hey, by the way, suck my ass. So yeah, used games are done. Like 100% done, at least on the Sony side of things there. You can't just trade in a license to GameStop to turn around and resell it somewhere else. Which again, that's another nail in GameStop's coffin too. They already had not been doing well. Sony has started, and honestly, man, like with Nintendo and their weird game key card things and Microsoft moving towards their digitizing your library thing, I mean, that's going to be the end of GameStop with how they have everything going on. It's crazy because now game preservation is going to be entirely at the whim of Sony going forward. There's not going to be any way to physically save those, because unless you rip the guts out of the console and swap it out between consoles to be able to do that and never connect that thing to the internet at all ever again, that's it. What's crazy too is like discoverability overall is going to be way down, because there's a lot of people out there who don't just throw down $60, $70, $80, $100, whatever it's going to end up being, to buy a brand new game right off the rip. A lot of the times when people get stuff, they get it on sale like that. They get it digitally through Steam, which is its own separate thing. And I hate the argument that everybody's making is, oh, well, Steam does the same thing. It's all digital there. No, there's ways of backing that stuff up and keeping those files if somebody tries to take them away from you. So unless there's backwards compatibility, something along the lines of digitizing games, there's not really going to be any sort of form of backwards compatibility anymore unless you just have your old console with your stuff still on it. It's like the literal only reason, like one of the literal only reasons for the backwards compatibility is to be able to just carry your stuff forwards. It is absolutely insane. And, libraries, too, have given people the opportunity to do, like, discover games and everything like that. That's an entire group of media that's going to be lost at those libraries. It puts further strain and demand on online connectivity. It's going to screw people over in rural areas. Because a lot of physical games just have minimal downloads. They install a lot of the stuff from the disc. But now that everything is going to be all digitized too, Sony's had multiple data breaches. So like what? We're going to put even more stuff on there. At least there's some people who didn't have to have their payment information or anything saved through Sony. They could just slap a game in the console and call it a day. I mean, this is all coming to at the same time when Sony is removing other things from people's digital libraries due to rights and everything like that. They had a recent purge of TV shows, and then a couple years ago they had a whole nother purge. The old folks now who are going to be buying games for people, for kids and grandkids and everything, that's, you can't just walk in and buy a copy. Now you have to get a digital gift card for how much on the PlayStation Network or whatever. Going this route too, storage constraints have come into more of a focus because at the same time we were talking about, you can have a game digitally installed on your console, and let's say you even have it on a console that's not connected to the internet so you can keep that thing forever. Well, one day you're going to run out of space on that console and you're going to have to delete something. Then that's how we get things lost. The whole idea, the argument that Sony has is like, well, most everybody gets their stuff digitally, which may be very well true for most things. But there's also these folks, the 15% that have hung on with how those people consume their media and how they want to do it. That's 15% of those folks you're going to alienate. Are you assuming that all 15% are going to go digital? Are you not taking into consideration the fact that this is going to be enough to push some people away from Sony, from PlayStation by making this choice? And on top of that, their argument is flawed as well because there are certain types of games that are consumed on physical media mostly as opposed to digital. Yeah, the digital ones, it's your multiplayers, everything like that. But single player games, a lot of the time it's a 50-50 split. I'm actually literally going to stop because I know that I'm rambling and I have not said a complete full sentence. I just started saying things, basically. I'm just jumping from point to point to point. I got to let you at least jump in here.
Listen, first of all, I think your rant was very concise and well put together, man. I think you're being too hard on yourself. Yeah, I think you're being too hard on yourself. I knew you were going to go for a while, and I let you go. Look, I mean, what this boils down to and what the next one boils down to is I have watched, I'm 44 going on 45, and I have watched as this game industry has risen up as an art form, and then money-grubbing psychopaths have taken it over and hollowed it out, and they're leaving a husk behind, and that's what they're doing. There's going to be nothing when they're left behind. One of the biggest reasons they're doing this, in my opinion, is because they lose money on trade-ins.
Oh yeah, well, 100%.
I think 100%. That's what it is. I think first of all, the hardware has gone through the roof, right? Like we're in full crash. The hardware's gone through the roof. They cannot justify the amount of money they're spending on the stuff that they're making. I think people have started to purchase it less. I think we have a trash fire. When you go to IGN the biggest hype of hype people, and their thumbnails are a dumpster with fire coming out. Like, that was their game, their main podcast. What's it called? The
next gen console watch.
Yeah, it is literally a dumpster with trash coming out. What are we going to do to save this console generation? Nothing. Nothing is anybody. All they're doing is they're looking at the bottom line, and they're trying to bleed as much money as they can out of it so that they can justify it. It will cost them less money to not put physical drives in their next console and any consoles going forward, and it will make them more money because people will not be able to trade it in, nor will they be able to go anywhere else. One of the biggest problems here too is you look at like PC, which is basically a digitally only media at this point. But on PC, I have choices. Okay, I can buy from Xbox, the Microsoft Store. I can buy from Valve and Steam. I can buy from the Epic Store. There's GOG I can buy for. This creates like competition and keeps prices competitive. If you are a Sony PlayStation owner and you can only buy your stuff through Sony, you are subject to Sony sales, Sony's prices, Sony's everything. I think when we go into the game preservation area, none of these people care about it. They haven't cared about it for a long time. They don't look at this as art form. Again, they are just hollowing it out until there is a fucking husk laying there. They don't care about the art. They don't care about the stories. They don't care about any part of that. And even multiplayer games of service are an art form. There's something to that, like an Overwatch that like should be preserved. And there's no backup plan for it. There never was any backup plan. It's literally put this out, bleed as much money as we can get out of it, and then move on. They have all adopted a mobile video game platform policy for AAA games, and that's what we're looking at. With PlayStation, yeah, I mean, the writing has been on the wall for the digital only forever, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the big reasons that, and I'll go back to it, one of the big reasons that consoles... The reason people are so upset about this, because we all have looked at it and been like, why is anybody buying a disc? Hell, GTA 6 probably started this when they said their box is only going to contain a game code. Like, I think that we've all been moving towards this. That's fair. But at the same time, as a console, when the console is what you're using, you have one way to purchase things. They are the fountain. They control the water. Like, I own a PC, I have options, but if I was a PlayStation owner and they decide to go no discs, I can't go buy from a store. I can't decide whether PlayStation's digital price and Walmart's price, which one's better. I can't take advantage of those sales because I can't play the game. And that's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And I mean, all of the things that you are said, that was all bases belong.
All the things that you are said.
All the things you said are 100% correct. I completely agree with them, and I'll stand on them right alongside of you. We're talking about the crash today. We're not talking about it coming. We're not talking about us predicting it. We're talking about what's happening. The crash is happening. We are in it. Period. The games industry is literally toppling onto itself. It is imploding in front of our very fucking eyes. And I have never wanted to be wrong about something more. Like, I've been predicting this for years. I didn't want to be right. I didn't want this to happen. I didn't want it to happen this way. It's a fucking nightmare. I think that, like, I'm getting off the subject. Sony doing this is a huge mistake. And it's definitely not listening to their fan bases, but it is indicative of an industry that refuses to listen to their fan bases. Their words to you for the last 5 years have been, buy it or fuck off, we don't care. Which is hysterical to me because they need us to survive. And they're not surviving. They're literally dying. And like, yeah, but I mean, this is what they do. This is what they do. Instead of try to service people, which is what they should be doing as a company, Like, that's what you do. You give somebody a service for money. Instead of trying to service people's needs, they are trying to force people to buy their stuff. Just like every other fucking company in America, we've ditched capitalism as like a, hey, I've got the best product sort of outlook. It is now, we're going to put a gun to your head and make you buy a thing. And we're going to make you buy it for our price.
You know what's kind of crazy too is, well, especially with the pricing side of things on their own marketplace, they've been testing dynamic pricing. We've talked about this before. Yes. Everywhere loves dynamic pricing. But what's crazy is, well, I wouldn't call this tinfoil hat because this is more than likely what happened. But pretending to put on a fake tinfoil
We're living in my tinfoil hat right now.
We're living inside of the tinfoil
hat. Well, like, I have a garden out front. I'm trying to survive on the tomatoes. I'm growing in dead bodies of companies in the backyard. Like we're living in it. So I don't even know what the worth of me saying tinfoil hat is anymore. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's so warm. We're dying of thirst. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So I bet you that they use GTA 6 being digital only as cover to see how people would react to it. Because this is the one game that everybody is putting all of their eggs into that basket. So why not just drop another egg in that basket and say, hey, you guys just go out there, be the bad guys. Say this and see how it works.
Look.
So from there, they said digital only. Nobody gave a shit because there's a lot of rumors out there that the game already made back what it costs to make in pre-orders alone. I don't know how true that is because that would be absolutely insane if it is that true. If that is true, rather, but
I mean, you can't believe anything they say anymore.
The what?
All right. I don't want to interrupt, but you can't believe anything any of these fucking people say.
No.
Ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm Rockstar and I'm getting all the scrutiny for how long it takes me to make a game, how much I put into a game, I'm just going to go out and say, hey, yeah, we made everything back. We're already done. And bluff my fucking ass off. I think they all do. They all do that shit, and they all fucking lie. And I am going to stop you, because I do disagree with you for the first time ever. I think you are giving these fucking companies more credit. I don't think PlayStation was thinking that at all. I think GTA did it, and because GTA decides everything right now, they were like, oh, GTA is doing it? We can do it then. Cool. We can make more money that way. I think everything any of these giant billion-dollar companies are doing is knee-jerk reactions. We're going to talk about it later, too. It's knee-jerk. None of it is planned. None of it is looked at right because they dug giant holes, and then they were like, wait, why are we in a hole? And now they don't know how to get out. Like, all of this is panic. And, like, I hate to say it. I don't think they planned anything. I don't think there was anything like, we'll see if GTA can. I think it was more like, what are we going to do? And then GTA was like, we're going to do disc. We're going to do no disc. And then they were like, and then the chatter. I mean, there was some people who raised some hell about it. I'm not going to lie. There was definitely some hate for that on the internet. Nowhere near what it was when PlayStation announced, but there was definitely some hate for that. I definitely saw a whole news story about Twitter feeds of like, you want me to pay $100 for a fucking bunch of numbers and letters on an empty box? It's ridiculous. But like, okay, I think they saw that and they were like, okay, let's do it. And then that's it. I think everything is that. Everything is pulling ripcord bullshit.
I mean, it kind of does seem a little bit like that, too. Well, not with this one, with the Microsoft thing, which we'll get into here soon. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just so conniving, so just shitty overall. The way that they're treating this decision.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are so tone deaf. Their very first announcement after they announced this was about buying a fighting stick or whatever, and people were asking if it's available digitally. Like, to kind of cap this off,
Mm-hmm.
the best argument that I have seen for this was in one of the IGN video articles that they did about it. The guy said, at the end of the day, when you have, let's say, your movies get stolen from your home, even though those movies are just licenses to have the film on disc, at the end of the day, the police report is filed as a theft.
Yeah.
That implies ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that we're not talking about the theft of the actual piece of plastic.
Look, every time one of these things has happened over the course of the last 5 years we've been doing this, we have pointed it out and we have said, you've got to stop them. And like, look, same thing happened with Switch. When Switch was like, you don't own your games, we can brick your system, like stuff like that. And that's okay. And nobody raised any problems with that. Like, we've kind of allowed the fucking we invited the vampire into the house, and now we're really pissed he's sucking our blood. And
Yeah.
that's a little bit annoying. And I'm not in the blame the victim mentality. It's just, how many times have you and I done this podcast and been like, we can't let them do this. This is bad. This is bad for gaming. This is bad for you. This is bad for us. And nobody did anything. Right.
I think it's one of those things where everybody listens, but then our consumeristic sides, which, like I said, I know I'm part of the problem.
Look, man, I spent
$100
on Skull and Bones. So like, I'm part of the problem too. But like, at the same time, there is a level of like, we've got one or two. You know, the rest of the people out there are just constantly buying things, constantly letting people in. And the kind of people who do the stuff that they've been doing don't build good infrastructure. That's not what they're here for. They're here to make as many money bags as they can and then walk away from the cold, dead husk. That's what these people do. And like, people who set up microtransactions, people who set up giant, huge, sprawling DLCs, people who set up, you don't own your media, digital only stuff. They are not people who want to build great infrastructure. They are people who want to find a way to part you with your money as efficiently as humanly possible, regardless of what gets hurt in the process, and then walk away. That's what they want to do. Period.
Yeah, 100%. And they've been doing it real well. Which is actually, right, I think, the perfect segue.
Well,
so I don't know if you want to break between.
Let's take a quick break. Take a deep breath, and then we'll come back with the Microsoft.
Be mad about something else.
Yeah.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're to the second half. Microsoft Cataclysm. They have absolutely scooped out their own company. 4 different companies have transitioned to being independent. That includes Double Fine, Tim Schafer's company. That includes State of Decay's Undead Labs. That includes, thankfully, the company that made South of Midnight. I cannot remember their name offhand. And then one other that I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Ninja Theory.
Oh, thank
and
you. Ninja Theory.
The other one.
The other one's South of Midnight. This is South of Midnight and the Ninja Theory.
Compulsion.
Thank you. Yes, they're the South of Midnight company. Those 4 companies are transitioning to independent. They haven't laid off any more as of yet, but we'll talk about that too.
And Arcane Leon as well, but theirs is unique because they are in France.
Oh,
okay. So Arcane Leon is also in the process of trying to figure something out with that, but because of their labor laws, they go through a different process.
Gotcha. All right. On the other side, 3,200 jobs got axed. Bethesda and Obsidian have been absolutely hollowed out. id Software, the people who make one of the more successful franchises in Microsoft's history, the Doom franchise, has been absolutely reduced to a skeleton crew. The Bethesda has been cut so much that they had, I think, like 4 or 5 games in the work. They are now down to just making another fucking Fallout and Elder Scrolls 6, which is still like 5 years off. I think they said 2 to 3 years off, even though it was announced 7 years ago. We then look at Obsidian. Obsidian's been hollowed out. There is no Outer Worlds 3 coming. They said they canceled Avowed 2 and are now working on a new Vegas Fallout, but they've actually said they're still working on an Avowed 2, even though they're not supposed to, which is really weird.
Yeah, that was very interesting, yeah.
Tons of game cancellations have come down the pike. I'm not even going to name them. But yeah, so it's weird. The companies that actually no longer have Microsoft support are actually slightly in a better position than the ones that do have Microsoft support. Because if you're still under the Microsoft umbrella, you got like 4 guys and a coffee machine. They are looking at huge amounts of crunch, huge amounts of overtime, no staff, no nothing. Absolute nightmare process. 100%. Meanwhile, we have Asha. I think that's her name, right?
Asha Sharma.
Asha Sharma being tapped to do like congressional looks at AI.
The fucking weirdest ass shit. The weirdest ass shit.
And here's the thing. I don't know Asha. I don't. We haven't seen anything about her. But I don't think this is necessarily because of Asha. I think Phil Spencer saw this coming. And like I said, these fuckers, they parch with as much money as they can, and then they walk away from the dead corpse. Phil Spencer saw the dead corpse, and he walked away.
Dad, you need to pause that.
Hold on a sec.
And he shat on the couch.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
All right, we're back. I was talking about Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer is like, he's the worst of them all, guys. He's the worst of them all. He did this. He went in. He spent all the money. He was a corporate pirate. He bought all the things, got all the bonuses, and then retired before the place started to burn. Even though he set the fire. Look, I don't like Asha Sharma. She seems like the same thing. But like at the same time, we've got 3,200 people out of work. We have AAA companies that are nothing now. And here's the worst thing about this, in my opinion, is if these companies were like, okay, we're going to make more independent stuff now, more smaller scale independent stuff, fine, you can do that. But they're not going to do that. They're going to still be expected to produce on a AAA level without a AAA staff or AAA funding. There are so many better ways to fix this problem than fire everybody. It's not like they don't have the money. Like, them saying they don't have the money is bullshit. Like, they're Microsoft. They're one of the richest companies on the face of this fucking planet. There's no reason. I said that the last time they laid off a bunch of people. That's not what this is about. At the same time, I think we are staring down a console generation that nobody's going to be able to afford. Nobody's going to have, by the time these come out in next year after, nobody's going to have enough money to drop $1,000, $1,200 on a game console. Nobody makes enough. Like, the cost of food has skyrocketed. Like, nobody makes enough for these fucking systems. I think we're done. Like, this is it. It's over. Like, it's all on fire. We're just watching it burn at this point.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that I find the worst about the layoffs is the fact that these 3,200 layoffs, 1,600 of them happened immediately. The other 1,600 haven't occurred yet. At some point, they're going to lay off the rest of the people. Right. So there's going to be people who are working that they don't know if they're going to still have a job in a couple months. Like, that
is on
poison.
purpose. Yeah, that is on purpose because they knew the morale was going to be low, but now they can hold the job over their head. You know what I mean? Like that is a purposely hung Damocles sword. Like that is not anything else. They didn't just do the 3,200 because they wanted some people to work, you know? And like this way, the people that they have working until they lay off those other 1,600 don't know if they're going to lose it or not. So they're going to have to work twice as hard to try and keep their jobs. In an economy where losing your job is tantamount to death, you know?
Yeah, it's it's absolutely shitty. And like you said, yeah, Phil Spencer, he probably saw some of the writing on the wall. I think it is. I think it is
was the one who wrote it on the wall.
I think that it, in retrospect, is the one. Yeah, in retrospect, he is the one that wrote it. I think he had good intentions.
I don't.
But we even at first
people
he
had
did.
good intentions. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, man. He was a rich corporate pirate who stepped into a job to make money. That's it. And that's what he's been trying to do the entire time. He made his money and he's out. Don't give these people any credit, man. They are terrible, awful people. Awful people. Yeah. He had no good intentions. The intentions he had was to make as much of our money as he possibly could before the place burned down. And that was it. The sacrificing of people's jobs, the sacrificing of our art form, the sacrificing of the future consoles, that didn't matter to him. And it still doesn't matter to him. Not him, not Matt Booty, not any of those motherfuckers. The only ones that I will say had some sort of good intention were back in the Shane Blackwell days. Like, not any of these motherfuckers from Game Pass or anything from Xbox 360 on. That's all they've been doing is how do we make the most money and burn it all down. They did not care about sustainability. They didn't care about infrastructure. They didn't care about how Game Pass was going to affect things or hurt things or go up or down. They just wanted their money. And then when Phil made it, when he made enough and he realized he couldn't make anymore, he got out before he was going to take the fucking blame for all of this. And now, and I don't like her, I'm sure she's just as bad. She's going to get all the hate. He was the one who fucking did it. They all did it. And they're the ones that need to burn.
Yeah, it's very much... Phil Spencer's tenure has been short-sightedness across the board. I mean, it's funny because we've even kind of talked about this before, actually, when it comes to some of the decisions. Like the whole... Oh, you don't need an Xbox, play Xbox games. I remember specifically us having a conversation about it. That's kind of dumb. That's kind of really dumb. So, I mean, yeah, if I don't, then just play it on a computer. Okay, cool. Like, it's the same thing that Sony kind of realized too. Especially because if Sony was continuing with their digital only anyways, but was still going to release their stuff on PC, I would maybe not feel as bad. I'm okay with having a PSN account. I'm not necessarily okay with being forced to have a PSN account. So that's the only thing that's a little bit weird on that. But I mean, at that point, I wouldn't need any of the consoles except for the Nintendo Switch and the PC. And I think that all of these companies came to this realization at the same time and started retreating back into their corners. It's just unfortunate that, you know, with the different options that are happening. I mean, Sony decided to bring everybody into the building, lock the doors, and set it on fire. And over here in Microsoft, they're just, you know, being open and blatant about, you know, everything that they're doing is like, hey, you know, we're going to do the, you know, shake our head, no, really tough choices. But this is still, I still swear up and down, this is still fallout from all the fucking acquisitions, which the fact that they're selling these companies off are enough proof of that on its own. But it's, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just, there is nowhere to go in a positive direction with any of this stuff anymore. And just like that IGN, the IGN podcast that you were talking about, because I listened to the same thing here too, is like, our enthusiasm for the next generation is at an all-time low. Everybody is already like, why do we even need a new generation? Because everything that we've got right now works just fine. But at the same time, you're going to do all this really shitty stuff, and especially on Sony's side, like force people into making decisions. And then in Microsoft's side of things, you've got weird decisions that were taken, like they knew that this was happening, and they announced their new Senua game at the game show. So everything
same with Undead.
Yeah, State of Decay 3 also was shown there. They knew that this stuff was coming down the pipeline, and I had been reading a ton of articles saying that they intended to keep that stuff in there because they wanted to entice people to buy the studios so they can have, control of all that stuff, which is kind of sick and disgusting that you're, putting something up for sale when those people don't even know that it's happening.
Yep.
But I guess that's corporate America.
Well, and they want the casuals to think that it's actually coming from Microsoft.
Right.
Because the casuals don't know what's fucking happened. The casuals are just like, oh man, the Microsoft zombie game looks great. Mm-hmm. It's not even a Microsoft game anymore. I think that like, and you talked about short-sightedness. Like, that even makes it seem too nice. It is willful short-sightedness. There was never a conversation about what these acquisitions were going to do down the line. There was never a conversation about what Game Pass was going to end up being down the line. I don't believe that for a second. I believe the acquisitions and the Game Pass was to make the nut right then. And that's the problem. That's the problem with this entire industry is there is no thought about infrastructure. Nobody, like the indie studios do. The indie studios want to last. But there is no thought of like, how do we keep this business going for generations to come? Nobody is thinking that. They're thinking, how do we make as much money as humanly possible? And
yeah, it's... Oh, go on.
No. I didn't really have anything else to say. It's just like... You look at the same kind of stuff has been happening with the Switch too. I mean, it's been a little nicer, but I'm sorry, the Switch 2 was bullshit. The fact that they're not making any more Switch 1s is bullshit. The fact that almost every game on the Switch 2 other than is a game that already was made somewhere else is bullshit. Even the new ones coming out that everybody's so fucking hyped on, like Star Fox, that's fucking Star Fox from the first Nintendo game. They just put a brand new code on it. Like this is all bullshit. It's all fucking remakes. The fact that the game everybody's most excited for is Assassin's Creed 4. I hate to say it, but there's like 4 more games after that, guys. It's a remake. It's not a new game. They just keep force feeding us the same fucking bullshit for more and more money. Like, this shit through all companies is not healthy. Nobody's looking at this from like a long-term standpoint, and they're all burning all their fucking bridges, and there's going to be nothing left. And the CEOs that manage to get out right before it burns, they're going to be rich, and that'll be that. And nobody will look back because that's how fucking America works. And that's what Phil Spencer just did. He just did that. He just worked there for 10 years, burned the fucking company to the ground, made a ton of money, and walked out the goddamn door, and nobody is looking at him anymore. Nobody! He is the guy who put us in this position. He bought 40 studios without having any actual guarantee that he can fund them. They didn't release any games. He forced them to cancel games that they were already working on, to work on shit games like Redfall that sucked fucking ass, and nobody bought it. But he made his fucking nuts somehow on Game Pass because it is all been a fucking scheme to hype Game Pass. And then they jack the price through the roof and nobody wants it anymore. And now we're in a position where you can't make Game Pass, a system that universally has worked for every gamer for the last 10 years. You can't make Game Pass work anymore because there's no games on it. There's nothing on it. PlayStation's dragged all their shit back into their fucking home. All the games that you were going to make on it don't exist anymore because you fired everybody who was working on those games or canceled the games within your internal studios. And then you lowered the price, what, $5 from the astronomical fucking $40 that it was at? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what was here? And you talked about before, you mentioned the part where you were like, we talked about this where it was like, anything's an Xbox. And I remember that conversation. I was on Phil Spencer's side back then because I was like, this is the future. He needs to just move away from hardware sales and become a platform like Steam. And that's what I thought he was doing. That's not what he was doing, though. He was just trying to make as much money on every front as he possibly could without ever thinking about any of the consequences. Okay? You know who else did this? Hitler! Hitler fought a war with everybody and he lost. Like, it's the same goddamn thing. Yeah, I compared him to Hitler. I don't fucking care. Like, the fact that, like, we are in this position where we just watch these people. They walk out and they do whatever the fuck they want and they just do it all around and then they just walk away. And nobody gives a shit. Phil Spencer should be in prison for what he's done to us, for what he's done to our industry, for what he's done to gaming. I'm so mad about this. I'm so mad about my games. I've been doing this. We have been doing this podcast for what? Nearly 8 years now, if I count the Logan stuff, right? Like, I have been on here, with the exception of maybe the last 2 years, weekly talking about this. I have literally watched a thing I love be ground into the fucking dust by people who put on a fucking leather jacket over a blazer and pretend to be our friends, and they're not our friends. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anything other than money. And what does it get them? Now you're old and you live in a big house. Good for fucking you. Oh, I'm shaking right now. It's just, we have watched this shit happen with Sony, with Microsoft, and we come out here every week and we talk about the same goddamn shit, and we watch the same goddamn shit happen. And now it just keeps getting worse. GTA 6 is going to come out, and a bunch of fucking lemmings are going to go out and buy that shit, and then we're going to be in the same fucking position. It's like everybody took crazy pills while I wasn't watching, and this is just what we deal with now. I don't know. It is very hard to do this video game station with this kind of shit going on. It just is. And again, talked about it in Fan Traction. It's one of the reasons that we do a lot of TTRPG stuff now, and I have been doing reviews on games that are like 4 fucking years old, because I don't want to give any of these people 1 red cent of my hard-earned money, especially when it's so fucking hard in 2026 to make money in the first place. I'm not giving any of these sons of bitches anything.
Yeah,
I hurt my hand pounding the desk.
The comparison to Hitler was a hot take.
All right, he didn't kill millions of people, but like, his tactics, I'm comparing to Hitler. Like, his corporate strategy is the same as the Nazi army. Like, he picked a fight with everybody just to see if he could win everything. Now he's losing. The only difference. No, I don't want to say that. But, like, he gets to walk away, man. He gets to walk away.
Yeah. Just like everybody else before him, too. Like, that's
the
thing, is
yes.
There are no consequences.
There's no consequences for any of these people. There's none of them. They just put them with all the power, and then they come out here, and they just take, and they don't give. And I'll tell you, man, I'd be a lot less hot on Phil if we hadn't been privy to all those fucking emails in the FCC where he basically was telling people that this is what he was doing. Like, and he has never paid for it. He still got to buy Activision. He won that fight. He got everything he wanted, and he walked away with somebody else holding the buck.
Yeah, he and Bobby Kotick get to ride off in a beautiful sunset together.
Fucking white people, man. Jesus. I don't know. It's infuriating. And I'm sure a lot of this is a hot take. Maybe we'll even lose a viewer or two from some of the stuff I've said. I'm not comparing the gamers struggle to what people went through in World War II. That's not what I meant to do. That may have been insensitive, but I am very upset with what these people have done. And I don't think people are nearly as mad about it as they should be. I just don't think they are. And if I get canceled for being too passionate about that, I get canceled for it, and I am sorry. But that's the facts. This guy, he ruined it. He ruined it all for everybody. They're all ruining it all for everybody. And like, we just have to watch every week.
Every week.
Every week.
Every week.
I don't know if I have any more to say on this subject. And I don't know if I should say any more, because I probably said too much at this point. From your reaction, I feel like I should be very scared about when this comes out. But
I was spicy. But it means you're passionate. That means you care.
Again, not comparing the not comparing what happened to the people in World War II to what gamers are going through. That's not what I'm comparing to. I was comparing the tactics. It was take. It was never enough. Never be satisfied. That's what I was comparing. I want to make that very clear one last time before everybody cancels me for my words. That's what I was comparing. And I'll die on that hill. It is the same tactics. It's take. It's never fucking enough for these people.
It's never enough until one day they ride off into that sunset.
Right. He just gets to ride off. I think that's the thing that makes me even mad. I mean, not anything. Just fine. You get to keep the money. Just you have to go on television and one guy gets to punch you as hard as he can in the face. Like, for everybody to watch. Like you have to do an episode of Power Slap or some bullshit. Like, that there should be some punishment for these guys who do this. And it's not just Phil Spencer. I think Phil hurts me because I was a Phil guy back in the day. And you guys could go back and listen to podcasts. I was definitely a Phil guy. Phil Spencer guy. I think it hurts even more because I feel like I was part of the problem for a long time. But like, it's not just him. It's every one of these CEO shitheads. On every one of these fucking AAA companies and these hardware companies. And I'm not leaving PC out. Gabe Newell's a fuckface too. Like, they're all terrible people who only want to take your money away. The only difference I will give Gabe is he has at least made Steam sustainable.
Yes.
It is a sustainable marketplace that does not seem to have any crashes other than its hardware bullshit. But like, the actual Steam marketplace store is healthy. And it is the only place that's healthy in 2026 for gaming. Other than that, he's a fuckface too, and he wants to take your money away as well. I think that, like, all of them are. They want to have their boats and tell you that they're your friends, and they're not. Anybody who has a boat that big is not your friend, unless you got a boat that big.
Then I'm your friend.
Right. This is what we should name the episode. How big is your boat, bitch? Your boat size is your friend circle. All right. Do you have anything else to add?
I do not.
All right. We're going to take a break. I am going to do the plugs, and we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, guys. That's it. What an episode it's been. What a journey. Before the episode, I wasn't canceled. But we are at the end of the show, and you guys know what that means, the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, would you like to plug anything, sir?
Yeah, so outside of doing this here in Ordo when it's running, we got another little thing that we got going on that was super duper fun if you want to end up watching some people figure out how to play a game.
It was good. I thought it was good. I think it's going to be good.
Pretty well. We only had minor hiccups of like figuring stuff out in real time, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, for how new you guys were to this game, and even me, I mean, I read the book, but I hadn't played before.
Yeah.
I felt it went really smooth. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like it really. I didn't feel like there was any
Definitely.
wasted motion on it. But that one's a little bit far off. We've got at least 6 weeks before any of that starts hitting the airwaves.
Yeah.
For TTRPGs, he did mention Ordo. If you are listening to this, the season finale of the third hunt went live this last Monday. You can listen to all of Hunt 3, which I worked very hard on. It is a very personal and heavy hunt where we find out a lot of backstory about Charles Wheat, and it really tests tests every facet of our hunters. I thought it was very very stressful as far as the hunts go, and that
It could have been way more stressful.
could have been. After that, we have 5 weeks of Duel Bastards is returned. Season 2 is out, and I'm going to say this right now. Season 2 is amazing. If for no other reason than the finale is a full 2 hours. It has, I'm going to say this, the best in-game fight I've ever game mastered. I keep thinking about it, how good it was. It has also potentially the best twist of any actual play I've ever done. It has a really good ending twist at the end. Especially if you listen to season 1. If you listen to season 1, season 2 is a must. Trust me. So check those out. And then after that, we do have another actual play in the works. We don't know if that will be ready in time to go right up. I also want to say in the immediate, this week at some point, my review for Everything is Crab will go up, which is an incredibly fun, awesome indie game that everybody should check out for very
I keep
cheap.
seeing it on Steam.
I think
keep
it's only
seeing it on
like,
Steam.
I think in the summer sale it was like $8, but normally it's like 12. It is heavily worth it. I have been waiting for a Vampire Survivor-like game that gets all the mechanics that I want in it, and this one nails it. It absolutely nails it. So check that out. Other than that, we've got BG3L3 still coming you guys' way on Thursdays. Got the Let's Play team together. Watch Neil completely ruin me in the first episode.
It's so good.
Dude, you made me so mad. He literally dropped a boulder on my head, guys.
I was so funny.
That was from like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, but and then check out everything we have to offer. Join our Discord. Tell me how terrible a person I am for my rants. Either way, we love doing this. Again, we've been doing a little bit more TTRPG stuff, but I've been finding solace in that from gaming right now. But you can still see the reviews. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit more independent and more older because I don't want to give those motherfuckers any money. And other than that, we will be back next week, but the week after that, we're probably going to take off for a pay-per-view. So, you guys can, as long as you keep watching, listening, for better or worse, I will keep making them. Pause. Fun stuff in the land of... Let's just get into it.
I got halfway through that and was like, I don't think I've just transitioned between points. I'm just saying things.
Dude, you sounded like me for a second there. You were definitely like in Zachland. You were like, took my face off and put it on yours and were like, let's go to fucking town.
Oh God.
Like very much. Usually you are the one like, whoa, that was a big rant. Let's talk about some upsides.
Yeah.
But this time you were like,
God, yeah.
and I was like, okay, all right, yeah, I agree. I'm right here with you, man. I'll stand with you on the trash fire. I don't fucking care.
Finally.
yeah. I've got the Palpatine outfit on. Yes. Let the hate flow through you, Neil. Yes. Do it. We did that at the same time. Do it. All right.